Cox here. Welcome to TVC Live. If you are catching the replay, just say, hey, tell me where you're coming from. I was having technical difficulties with my actual setup live, so I'm just going to wait a couple minutes and so people can hop on over. So if you are catching the replay, just skip a few minutes because this might take a second. Unless you really like to see me text and panic and hope people show up. Okay, there's one person. Oh, that's probably me. Okay, some people are catching on. Hey, guys, tell me in the comments that you can hear me, you can see me. We've got Heath and Alyssa Padgett from heathandalyssa.com coming on. They're in the background, so if you hear them giggling at me being ridiculous and turning all red because I'm super annoyed with this program. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can. Okay, Parrothead21. Hi, Liz. Hey, Mary. How you doing? Okay, that gives me hope that people are hearing and seeing this. All right, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I even schedule these things because I think this is the third time out of like 5 that it hasn't worked properly. So I'm going to have to get with my software people. Hey guys, hey Tara, RV Pull and Roll. Hey, that's a cool name. Pamela's here. Okay, awesome. Just gonna wait like one more minute. I hate to do that, but talk amongst yourselves. I've got my Polar Pop. This needs something stronger than H2O, I feel like right now. All right, cool. All right, so tonight we're going to talk to Heath and Alyssa Padgett. We're going to talk about building a business while on the road. I'm really excited to talk to them. I just posted on my personal page that Heath and Alyssa were the ones to inspire me to start a blog in the first place, and now that I'm interviewing them, I'm getting a little red, so I'm wicked excited for it. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Mary, Plant-Based RV Living. Hey, Mike. Okay, people are coming in. Awesome. So tonight I was talking to my husband and I was getting really stressed out because I was having low energy and I still wasn't sure how I was going to start the show. And he said, well, Liz, you know, it's your blog. Why don't you just talk about yourself? Which is something I don't actually normally do on my blog or on this show at all, except through like story. But I thought maybe that was a good idea, and I'd give you an update, you know, like other YouTubers and bloggers probably do. So here is something that I just posted yesterday on my Facebook, and I'm really excited to share with everyone. I have real internet. Let me move my camera. Oh, you can't see it because I have that stupid Jim Carrey picture up. But I actually have wires here behind Jim Carrey, and I have actual real live internet. Ed and I are going to be stationary for the next year while he finishes up school. And so I said, okay, well, maybe we can get real internet. So I called up Spectrum, and they said, yep. And they came out 2 days later, literally on time. They said between 9 and 11. They came at like 8:59. It was crazy. And they were able to hook me up with internet. So unlike my software, my internet is working amazingly right now, and I couldn't be more excited. So yeah, my post said, if you thought I was on fire before, imagine what I can do with internet that doesn't come from my phone. So I'm excited about all the possibilities. And next, I actually just finished up writing all my Fix It Yourself thank you cards to all the people that bought Fix It Yourself, that RV maintenance course we launched last month. I just finished up writing them with this pen, and I'm really excited to send them out because I'm just super grateful for everyone that purchased. It's a brand new course. We had something, I think we had almost 150 students in it in the first 6 days, and I'm just wicked excited for them to know how much I care and how excited I am for them to be part of the program. And last, another thing that's really exciting that's coming up is the Boss Free Virtual Summit. Check out this amazing graphic, you guys. I just got this sent to me in an email, and I'm going to be part of something called the Boss Free Virtual Summit. It's a summit hosted online by Jeff Brown, and he's got one of the top business podcasts on iTunes right now. And I think it's been like that for a few years. And he invited me to come on to talk about my RV blog. I'm not exactly sure why, but he says he's been following me online in a not creepy way for about a year, and he just likes what I'm doing. So we recorded that episode a couple days ago, and I'm excited for it to come out. And I'm mainly excited because, I mean, you guys, this is RVing, but I just wanted to show you guys this picture because it's crazy. Like, this is a picture of me right next to one of my mentors, Jeff Goins, and next to, like, this really big guy. He runs a podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire. My face is right next to him. I just think it's freaking crazy. Why they invited me on, I'm still not sure, but I'm just excited to be a part of it, so I wanted to share that with you guys, because you guys are always, you know, cheering me on and encouraging me, and it means a lot. All right, so let's get into it. Like I said, we are interviewing Heath and Alyssa Padgett tonight, and so it wouldn't be like a virtual campground without a virtual campfire story. So I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about how I know Heath and Alyssa. First of all, you guys might know them through their blog, heathandalyssa.com, through their really amazing RV entrepreneur conference called the RVE Summit. This is a picture of them at their summit just a few weeks ago that I attended. And I just want to show you this really corny picture on my probably like $50 phone that didn't even have internet on it, that I took a selfie with Alyssa and this other girl, Sarah, who's my roommate at the very first conference. And let me tell you, just asking Alyssa for this photo, I was so nervous. I was so new at blogging and all online things. This was the first conference I had ever been to in my life. I thought everyone there was wicked famous. And so asking for this picture, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so famous now. So I just wanted to share that with you and share kind of the evolution of all that. And to get noticed at the conference, I always tell people that I was super desperate. I knew I was going to make a blog and turn it into a business. I just didn't know how. So I went around 7 a.m. in the morning. I went out for a run, and I took selfies with all these other RV bloggers, all their campers. So here's a picture of me with Murica is the name of their RV. And I posted it on the private Facebook group, and I said, creeping while you're sleeping or something like that. And it really got me remembered, and I honestly, as stupid of a stunt as it was, I think it caught a lot of people's attention because somebody brings it up at least once a week to me. And then here's a picture of me at the summit just a few weeks ago, me and Heath, and technically Alyssa's walking away in the background off the stage, probably telling somebody to do something while Heath and I are just hanging out. And it was just a great experience, and I owe a lot of my start and dedication to my blog to Heath and Alyssa, so I just want to bring them out now. Hey guys!
What's up, Liz?
I only see you guys, so hang on, let me...
Is that a problem? Do you not want to see it?
Well, I see you, but I don't see me.
Oh, okay.
So let me see, shift click. Alright guys, this is how we get things done here on TVC Live. Welcome to YouTube Live. They said this is their first one, right?
Yeah. I've never done one. So.
All right, cool. So actually I'm going to ask you guys to squeeze together just maybe 1 inch. That's perfect. Oh, that's so great. So great. So I told them a little bit about my experience with you guys, but you're the real deal. You're Heath and Alyssa. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
You go for it.
Well, about, 5 years ago now, Heath and I were actually like 5 years ago to the day, we were probably like looking at our very first RV that we found on Craigslist and decided that for our first year of marriage, we were going to go to all 50 states. And the RV was really just going to be the vehicle that would take us there. It was a place for us to sleep. It was an easy way for us to cook meals and travel for cheap. Since we were 23, we were young, we were about to get married. We had not a lot of money to our names to make it happen. But it, probably 3 weeks into the trip, we really fell in love with RVing, and we had no camping experience, no RVing experience before we started traveling, and we just absolutely loved it. And then, fast forward 5 years later, and it's all we talk about pretty much all the time.
It's kind of weird because it's like we were on the road for almost 5 years, and now we're like in our apartment in Denton, Texas. Alyssa's like 8 months and a week pregnant. Like baby could pop on this live.
Oh man, my ratings, my subscribers will go through the roof. Come on, baby Padgett.
We have to change the title, like SEO it, like woman has like baby on live.
Gosh.
No,
have to change the whole format of the show after that too, right?
Yeah. No, so I mean, we're we're stationary this year, so we can do a live video, which is really cool. And we decided to be,
and so we can have a baby.
Yeah, so we can have a baby, be around family and everything like that. But RVing has been a huge part of our lives the past few years. From like most of the people we call like our best friends, to like my software company that I do every day now, and like everything. So much of what is going to be like a part of our lives probably moving forward. Probably just like this random thing, but we love it. Yeah.
I just want to point out, people in the comments are cracking me up. Positively Delighted said, check out that brick wall. Mike says, such a profesh set, guys. Mike says, good fake brick.
It's like a 1/4 inch thick. Like we actually,
it's so fake. I can't believe it.
We were up in Canada, and traveling when we found out we're pregnant, and like all this stuff happened, and we're like, you know what, we're gonna spend a year in Alyssa's family's hometown. And I was like looking at apartments online. I was like, the idea of getting a house like seems ridiculous. Like we don't have anything, like we don't have any stuff we own. And then the idea of going to like a regular quote unquote apartment, like kind of seemed like a step backwards. But then we found this really cool, like small, apartment that was being converted in this old like bank building downtown, and it had like a really cool hipster brick wall. So I was like, done. I want to live in that place because it looks cool.
But we literally we signed the lease before they finished building it, and like sight unseen, we're up in Vancouver, and we're like, yeah, we're just gonna move to Texas. I think that was probably like the most wild thing we've ever done. Like moving into an RV, like that's crazy for some people, but like to sign a lease on a building that wasn't even finished.
Yeah.
That was probably the crazier thing.
You think so?
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah, that does seem weird. I mean, we thought about it because we knew we were going to be here for about 14 months in Tampa, and I thought, well, we could get an apartment. It would help me have an office. I wouldn't develop a hunchback from working at the dinette. And I thought, gosh, that seems so extreme to get an apartment, especially I don't know what they look like. I don't know the neighborhood. I'm not going to be able to leave if I don't like it.
Yeah.
I will say it's one of the biggest things that's been like harder to make friends since we've been here. Because like normally like we'll just meet up with people at a campground or something like that. So it's been like having to like readjusting to life back in. And I'm sorry to like hijack. I know we like have maybe like a format and stuff, but that's just been like a thing that I feel like it's so much easier to make friends being on the road, because you can like hang out with people, you can eat breakfast with each other, like go on walks to the campground. Like here you're like meet somebody and then like 3 weeks later, do we ask them to hang out? Like, is that weird? Like, I don't know.
With RVers, it's like, yeah, come over to the campfire.
Exactly.
And like we're best friends instantly.
So anyway.
Yeah, that was another thing. I was like, well, I won't have any friends. There won't be any potlucks, like stuff like that. No campfire in the apartment. Yeah, and don't worry about getting off topic. Literally, I think one of the people that always watches the Trekkers, they say my tagline should be, this is a little off topic, but...
Cool.
But yeah, so
good podcast
first
title.
question, guys. First question. Yeah. So I know you guys used to take on a ton of client work. I know because I used to think when I first saw your blog that you made all your money from your blog, and that really inspired me. I said, if they could do it, I can do it. I did not know that you had clients and that you had this video-based business, but I know obviously now things are a little different. So how does your income, how does your business look from when you first started RVing to what it is now?
You want me to take this one?
Sure.
Yeah, so basically when we first started, like our first year on the road, we got a documentary type sponsor. And so that was like a kind of a content exchange, basically. They sent us some video equipment. Are you laughing at us, or are you like looking at
I'm laughing at the comments. Sorry, go on. I will interrupt. The Trekkers said, Heath, hey, want to see a hipster brick wall? That's your icebreaker
cool.
to get neighbors over.
There you go. Exactly. I love it. So
Sorry,
our first year on the road, we had like a documentary, a company that sponsored us to like write blog posts from like the hourly jobs I worked that first year. Was a documentary we were working on. So then like we learned video. Year 2 and 3, we were like, okay, we like RVing. We parlayed those video skills. It took 9 months of like learning video and like volunteering for free at conferences, meeting people, for us to get our first client. We actually got the client from Jeff Goins in a roundabout kind of way. We filmed his first Tribe Intensive, and somebody who was there, and we filmed it, like just volunteered to film, and somebody who was there ended up hiring us to make like an about video for their website. And they were like, well, how, like bid it out. And I'd never bid out a project. I was like, $100. He's like, how about $1,000? And I was like, even better.
Best first client ever.
Basically what I realized was that like I was tripping over myself trying to make like $30 to write a blog, and like video pays better. So we started getting different freelance video projects. Like we were stationary for a good bit that second year to kind of like build savings. So we filmed weddings, we filmed like random conferences, we filmed like video courses for clients, everything from like job searching. We did a prenatal breastfeeding course.
Very informative.
Yeah, so we made like a poop ebook, and like now I know what kind of like poop our baby should have, like different stages of life. So like those, I guess
we've had a lot of crazy random clients. Our biggest goal after we did our 50-state documentary was just to pay off all of our student debt. And so we were just like, any client that comes our way, we're going to take it and we're going to run with it, even if it means like writing an ebook about newborn poop and having all these pictures of poop in my Canva account that I cannot delete.
Yeah, they look gross. So like that was probably like the bulk of what we did for like at least several years. And then that kind of grew into some bigger projects working with like Winnebago and some.
Well, I would say the biggest transition was when we did the summit, because that's when we kind of made a name for ourselves in like the RV industry. And instead of taking on any client we could get, we're only going to work with RV specific companies because that's what we know. That's what we blog about. And there was so much disconnect before between doing like a course on breastfeeding and then like spending all of our other time talking about travel.
I would say that like even though our income was like disparate and like kind of using all the same skill sets, it was super helpful to be able to move all of our work into one vertical. Because it's like hard to shift focus from like, like we're writing and sharing like all this awesome stuff we love about RVing and travel, and then like going to do this course or this video for somebody that's like totally different than what we're working on day to day was a big challenge. Mm-hmm. And so then we did that. And then now like the past couple of years, I've been focusing on getting campground booking going. Alyssa has a book out that's done well. And now like campground booking is a full-time job for me. So that's software for campgrounds, and we have like booking partners that over 5,000 people have used our reservation system. We're processing $100,000 a month now in bookings. That's not what we're making, but that's
awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's like what's going through our booking system, and that's not like a ton, but it's like people are using it. So like learning how to grow a software company has been like the thing that I've been working on the side of like the blog and the summit and stuff for the past couple years.
So only one full year, like April of last year to now, we or at least I, like all of our income has been from the blog.
Yeah.
But the other 4 years, a lot of different stuff, client work.
So, well, I would say even in the past year, we've still had some random client projects that we've done, but not big ones.
Name one.
CNN.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Anyway.
I couldn't think of any. That's why I asked.
Name one. It's like, I dare you right now. This is live. Say it.
Yeah. So
you win.
That's awesome.
I don't know if that's helpful. It's just like been our journey.
It's super helpful. Thank you. So, I know that you guys, you hit the road. You're making this documentary. You're fresh out of college. You literally just got married. Did you experience that like, oh snap moment? And how did you push through it?
I think the worst moment during that first year was, so we were all about saving money because like we said, like we weren't making a lot. So we parked our RV in a friend's parents' driveway while the parents were out of town. So we just parked the RV in their driveway and like we stayed in their guest room. And it was great. Like we had hot water, we had electricity, we were in like a real bed, like all these luxuries. And so we were there for like 3 days, and we get into the RV and the fridge like won't work. It was full of all of our food. Everything is like ruined. It smells. We can't fix it. And all of a sudden we're like looking at like a $2,000 expense to like replace it with another RV fridge.
It's like a fifth of the cost of our whole rig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it was a really old rig.
Yeah.
And we were just looking at each other like, okay, like you need a refrigerator for food and you need food to live. So like we have to figure this out. And we had like $70 in our checking account at that point. And we were just at this like super moral, like low point of just like, there's no way that we can make this happen. Like we were on state 21 out of 50. Like we still had a lot left to do. And for some reason, Heath was on Twitter during this, tragic moment for us. And he's like, hey, our friend Chris is having a book signing in Nashville. We should go. It's like 5 hours away. I know it's like the total wrong direction, but I just feel like we should really go. Like he attracts like the same kind of people that we like people that are travelers, people that are entrepreneurs. We had met him in Portland and just a month or two earlier in our trip and had really enjoyed meeting his tribe. And so we're like, you know what? Let's just take a risk. I know we're stressed. Let's just go to Nashville, go support our friend and hang out and, we'll deal with this tomorrow. And it ended up being just like the absolute probably best decision that Heath and I have ever made in like our 5 years of travel because of the people that we met that night are some of our absolute best friends to this day.
Yeah, like so many of the people we met that night. And then on a side note from the fridge perspective, for 3 months, Liz, we bought ice every other day and shoved it into our free. It was at least 2 months.
It was until we got to Maine. We bought it in Maine.
Okay, so from Missouri.
It was 1 month.
It was a year. But we buy.
We still don't have a fridge, guys.
We would shove ice into the freezer and like to keep all the vegetables and stuff cold. And I was like, wow, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So that was
it was a real white trash moment for us, but we made a lot of friends in Nashville, like, Kara and Nate and our friends, Chris and Rachel and our friends Wes and Tira. We met up with them and it was just like this. Those are like all the couples of people that we intentionally like go and hang out with every single year that they pour into us and we pour into them, I think, and just like love hanging out with each other and talking about business and travel. And that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't been, freaking out over the fact that we were broke and didn't have a way to eat.
Yeah. I think the key takeaway for me there was like life can get kind of, not great, but we'll figure it out.
Well, I think community makes a big difference.
And being around the good people, for sure.
Yeah, I love that you recognize there was an opportunity there, right? Like, oh, this guy attracts the same people we want, to attract in our life. We need to go. The fridge is still going to be broken when we get back. We're still only going to have, X amount of dollars. Like, we'll still be poor, babe. Let's just go and have some fun.
What we got from that community, from that going to that book signing, and also our trip to World Domination Summit in Portland, which was kind of like the same kind of community, was like basically, and I feel like that's what has made me really happy about the RVE Summit, because I feel like we've tried to fill a similar type of mission, is that like we completely went off the reservation from status quo from our group of friends. And like, I know we've talked about this within like this RVE Summit community, but maybe for other people, it's like whenever you're doing something that's so outside the norm, and nobody gets it, when you find a group of people who like understand and like, that's not crazy what you're trying to do, like build your business or travel or just do anything outside the norm, like it's really valuable. And you're like, oh my gosh, it feels so good to be around people who are like not telling me I'm crazy or not an idiot or not like throwing my life away. And so to me, like it's really valuable if you can find, and I think that's true though for like podcasting or anything. Like if you love podcasting, like go to Podcast Movement or go to somewhere where you could be around people who are going to be like, you know what, I can do this, you can do it too. Mm-hmm. And I was like talking to somebody the other day and about like YouTube and how cool it is, like how many kids want to grow up and be YouTubers, and like a good bit of our, like we're on YouTube now, and like so many friends, like not a ton of friends, but we have some friends who like do their whole job is YouTube. And so we were like, oh, it's totally possible. It's totally realistic to like, if you work hard, you can make it happen. And I was talking to someone the other day and they're like, oh, but kids should still have a backup plan. And I was just, okay, I'm not going to go down this whole tangent.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. But the point of that being, find your tribe.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's so true. I remember the very first RV Entrepreneur Summit. I messed up the tickets. My husband couldn't come. I had to rebuy plane tickets. I had to split a room with a couple. I think I ended up spending like almost $2,000 to attend this conference. That was at Jellystone in the middle of nowhere, Texas, wine country. I don't even drink wine. But it was just to find those people that would get it, that I could connect with. And you're right, like so many of those people, like I shared this in your Facebook group the other day, like I've made tens of thousands of dollars with the people that I've met there. I have Kelsey, I met her there. I have her CD in my rig right now, and we listen to it every morning. My daughter loves it. Like, I'm drinking this mug right now. And Mike, he put in the comments, he said he bought one last week when he saw I was drinking mine. So, it's just that ripple effect. The butterfly effect. It's just so important to seize those opportunities, which is the perfect segue to this next question. You guys have been at this for a long time. You've been building your online brand. Like you said, you did client work for a good 4 years before you were able to transition to your blog. I'm sure you've seen 1,000,001 opportunities out there. How do you decide what is the right opportunity? And what is something that was really hard for you to say no to, but you now realize was the right decision?
Boy, you look like you've got answers.
I have something for what we say no to. I don't know how I make decisions.
What's the no?
So I guess like a year ago now, when we were in New Zealand, we were talking with Camping World people about their TV show that they were working on filming about traveling around in their RV in like Southeast America and talking about going to, Charleston and Georgia and all these places.
We really want to do it. It sounded so much fun.
I have always wanted to host my own TV show. Like, we watch the Travel Channel.
Well, here I am, making it work.
Great job.
Yeah.
And my dad always told me growing up, he's like, you should really grow up and like host a show on the Travel Channel.
You should be Aaron Andrews is what he says.
He does say Aaron Andrews now because I think he wants free Cowboys tickets. But it was always like this dream, like this pie in the sky dream that I was like, I want to host a TV show so badly. And I gave them like the soft commit via email, like while we were in New Zealand, like, yes, like super interested, want to make this happen, like send me the dates, send me the locations, all this kind of stuff. And they sent us all the information, and it conflicted with us being in Canada, and we knew we were like trying to get pregnant, and we're like, it's going to be too much to be flying from Western Canada to like the eastern part of the U.S. and just like scheduling wise, it wouldn't work. So I'd email them back and say like, no, sorry, we're out. Like, and I was so devastated like that whole day that I had to email them because I was like, this is something that I really want to do, and I just like physically don't have the time or the ability to take that many flights to make it happen. But then, we did get pregnant, and then I was sick, so I physically would have been unable to film. So like in that way, it like worked out that it wasn't going to happen and that we said no. But I'm still a little bit sad about it. A little bit jealous every time I see pictures. I'm like, oh, that could have been me.
I would say for answering the question of like filtering decisions, I think for me, it's been about like seasons of life and what's been the priority. So like when we were trying to pay off debt, if like a client came along, even if I wasn't crazy about it, i.e. like filming a course about like prenatal breastfeeding, it's like, I don't really care, but they're going to pay. And so we need client work. So I think for me, like opportunities were at that time, like, does it make money? Yes, let's do it as long as it's not illegal. So I think, and then now I would say like most opportunities, I'm trying to think of like specific things that have come in, but it's been like, if it's not a time commitment, it's super alignment. Like if a friend wants to jump on a phone call and talk, like if you were hitting me up, Liz, and you were like, Heath, I want to like bounce an idea off you, I'd be like, yes, give me a call. For real. And I don't know. So like I trying to like value time with friends and just like pouring into relationships. But like if somebody random like hits me up and they're like, do you want to grab coffee? I'm going to probably say no at this time just because like I'm spending a ton of hours on campground booking and I'm focused on that. But it's like, maybe if you're already like a friend, like I would love to hang out and visit with you, but I'm not saying I have like enough. I don't know. So I guess
Gotta
the
be
same.
a VIP with the Padgetts, yeah.
It just depends.
Totally.
It just depends. Like
you have to be a certain level of friend to get a phone call from Heath.
No, I don't know. It's a hard question. It's like I feel like you need to think about it, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's something that we really struggled with last year was that we felt really overcommitted and that we had said yes to so many things. So this year, kind of our approach to making those decisions has been just say no to everything, but our official statement is, we're waiting to make decisions until after our daughter is born, because no one can argue with you on that.
So that's a good point.
It's
Is
a
like
perfect excuse. I use that with Chelsea, and she's born already. I'm like, she's 4. She's only 4. That's really hard to, I have to get back to you in middle school.
So that's a good one though. That really has been like filtering decisions for this stage of life has basically been like we're trying not to take on anything new this year because the baby's coming. Like we don't know what like hopefully she comes out and she's healthy and she's like great and she's crying and like all good. But we don't know like what's going to happen. So like we're trying not to take on anything new that's going to add to our plate before baby comes. So it's like filtering based on like priorities of what's most important right now and trying to like align with whatever that priority is. And this one is like getting ready to be parents. So yeah.
That's awesome. And it makes sense. It's like a good, when I first started my blog, like, yes, I'll write a guest post for you, and yes, I'll do that, and I'll do this, and, now, I'm at a different season in my business, and I don't have to say yes to everything. I'm trying to figure out what's best, what's the best next move. Even I wanted to start this show, actually, my original plan was to film it all at the RVE Summit, not this year, but 2018, because I wanted it to be like in person and have seasons where we're like talking on the couch. And I literally had everyone booked. And then we had just hit the road. My husband just left the military. We were basket cases. I was like, I cannot learn how to film and interview people. I've never interviewed anybody, and so it was just the wrong time, it was the wrong season of life. And then, after a year of traveling and us kind of getting stationary again, I said, I can do that show now. Here we are. I would ask you guys, so I know you've done a lot. You're saying you've done this and that. What has been something that you've loved the most that has come out of running a business on the road?
The corny but actual true answer is like our friends that we've made from Summit for me and like the relationships that have come from that have been hands down the best thing for me personally. So.
No, I would absolutely agree. It's one of those things that anytime we're like in the throes of planning or like about to do like a ticket launch, we're like, why do we plan this summit? It's so much work. I'm so stressed. Like, this is ridiculous. It's not worth it. And then like every single year, as soon as we start like meeting people in real life, we're like, I want to do this like every weekend of the year. Like, it's so much fun. You meet so many people that, like we were saying, like they just get it. And you can have these like really deep, really great long conversations with people that it makes it definitely the most rewarding.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys hosted it, because if I wouldn't have met some of the friends that I met that first year, I probably would have given up on blogging. I actually got really sick after that first summit, and I didn't work for, I think, like almost 30 days. And I had just started my blog. My blog was like 3, maybe 4 months old. It was like nothing, right? It was just some blog posts and me. And so I got really sick. And if I wouldn't have had those connections, and Camille Tell wouldn't have reached out to me and said, hey, let's be accountability buddies, I probably would have not picked it back up when I, got over that sickness. Because I think I was sick, like 30 or 40 days or something. And so, but, it was because of that conference and meeting people and finding those people that I connected with that, I was able to keep going and say, like, yeah, it is possible to make money online doing what you love. So that's really cool. So we're running out of time because I talk a lot, and so does Heath, apparently. I'm trying to think of what the best question would be to ask you guys. Oh, here's a good one. So I want one tip from each of you on how to build a business from the road. Like, what advice would you give a person.
You want to go first, or you got one?
I got so many tips.
Oh, gosh.
I know you do.
Anytime I ask Heath a question, I'm like, hey, like, what's one thing we could do to improve our business? He just, like, talks for an hour monologue. I'm like, okay, thank you. That was so
I was like,
helpful.
why are you taking notes? It's just brilliant. No.
I would say,
I thought I was going to go.
no, you think you refine your idea.
Okay.
Travel slowly. That's the biggest one, because people, whenever they start out traveling, like us included, like, you're so excited and you're just like, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here. And you end up hitting like 3 places a week and you're driving all these miles and you burn out so quickly. And then if you try to keep up that kind of speed, that kind of pace, that kind of lifestyle, then you're going to then burn out to the point where you're like, this isn't worth it. It's not what all these like YouTubers like showed it to be or whatever. You have to, stay a place at least like a week at a time or a couple weeks, or have seasons. Like every single year, we've always been stationary for at least 2 months in the winter. And it makes the biggest difference just having like this time that you're going to be stationary and you can catch up on all of your work that you've fallen behind on or things like that. And recognizing that you don't have to see it all this week. Like, you have time. You have weeks, months, years to see it.
I mean, like, this better than anyone, Liz. It's like, if you're trying to start a business and start a new life on the road, like, I think it's challenging to try to do both, and it's almost unrealistic to try to do both. So it's like, if something happens
at the same time,
yeah. So it's almost like figuring out, like you said, what kind of season of life you're in. Like, was that a struggle for you? Like, you hit the road and also trying to...
Oh my gosh, dude, I could go on all night. I did an interview yesterday where they asked me basically the same question. I was like, it was a freaking nightmare. We are stationary because it just wasn't working. We need to recoup. There was a reason why I said yes to my husband going to school. I was like, virtual campground is kind of like exploding right now. Things are working. Full-time Freedom Week, like, we had almost 5,000 attendees. And, like, that's just a lot to handle when you're traveling. So after that, I said, you know what, maybe we should, remain stationary for a while I build this thing out and then reevaluate. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
I think it's all about, like, seasons of life. But, okay, so my tip would be, like, focus on runway. That's something I mentioned and, like, I've talked to a lot of people about on the podcast. But basically, it's just, like, figuring out, like, if you're trying to get your business going and life on the road, it's like calculating, you're like focusing on the things that are going to generate revenue now and give you more runway to, like, maybe do what you want to do if it's not yet bringing in money. And I think that's like the simple version of that equation that a lot of people kind of struggle with, myself included, which is basically just trying to figure out, like, okay, I have all these things that I want to do that, like, campground booking, like, I can talk about that. It's like, I have been working on this for a long time. And we're just now getting to the point where, like, our product is really good and the company is making money, not a ton, but enough to pay for, like, us and a few contractors. But if we didn't have all the things that we were doing on top of that, I would have had to, like, quit, basically. And I was talking with Kevin Holish, my friend, a couple of years ago, and I was just like, I want to go all in and do this. And he was like, well, don't give up all these other things you're doing because companies don't run out of money, but founders do. And it was just like, okay, that's good advice. And, like, the longer you can give yourself to, like, take off in whatever you're working on, the better chance you won't have to, like, quit and go get a job, essentially. And I also think it just helps you enjoy your life more. So,
man, that's such good advice that I ignored from you for 2 years. I always heard you talking about runway. I was like, whatever, this is what I want to do. Screw you, Heath. I'm not doing client work. That's ridiculous. This is my dream. I don't believe in a side hustle or, like, in my head. But honestly, I do believe that was another reason why, we struggled so hard on the road. My husband was making money. But, for me, it was like, I've got to prove this. I've got to make it work. I said it would work. I've got to do all these big things. I mean, there's a reason that I've created 6 digital products in 2.5 years. I've always been, like, just going after the next thing. And honestly, if I would have done more, even freelance writing, for heaven's sakes, I think I'm pretty good at writing, but it was like, no, that takes me away from my dream. But, I think it's great advice because I probably, wouldn't have been so stressed out. It wouldn't have been so high stakes because I did go all in. I mean, I'm still all in, but it's taken me 2.5 years to kind of get the ball rolling. But yeah, I'm 30. I just turned 31, and this bun, it covers up gray hair. and I have to say, my mom had 4 kids and didn't start going gray till 36. So I think running a business is somewhat similar to children. I don't know. Can you say that? I have a kid. I can say that.
Totally.
I don't know. I have no context. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So Heath, you mentioned your podcast. I know you've done like almost 170 episodes now. Somebody asked this question, and I thought it was really good. Like, what is one interview or one moment on the podcast that really inspired you or taught you something that you just took the ball and rolled with it, if that makes sense?
Ooh, interesting. The first one that comes to mind, and probably because I've been so focused on it, was I did a series called like Make Me Feel Dumb, where I need like public shaming for this because I have one episode from that 5-part series.
Okay, I will public shame you because I know you've recorded more episodes, and I always look like I'm like maybe I'm missing them, and I would like to hear the other ones. So come on.
So it was with Jeff Goins, was the one I did it release.
I like a couple months ago just deleted it off his Trello board because I'm like, this is just never gonna happen. It's been a year and a half.
Because Jeff and I are. Jeff's a friend, and like I was like, hey man, I got to do this, and I just like set it up in the office, and the whole idea behind the series was just like, it was like my own selfish reasons to like get mentors to like just talk with me about like problems and like, but like doing a podcast format. But one of the I need to get Jeff's out. That was a side note. But one of the interviews was with Nathan Barry of ConvertKit.
Cool.
And he basically was it wasn't as much an interview as me just like complaining about problems and pain points I have in my business. And then like saying like, make me, like me saying like, make me feel dumb. Like, what am I not doing? What can I do better? And, one of the things that Nathan said was I was like trying to get we're about to launch with our first customers at Campground Booking. And he basically was like, getting to $1,000 in a SaaS company is so hard that if you get to $1,000 a month in revenue, like you deserve respect. And other software founders would agree with me. And I just remember like him saying that. And it wasn't like a thing for me to go do specifically like action item insight or whatever, but it was more just less like encouragement to know that like, okay, this thing that I'm trying to do is like really, really challenging and it's really difficult. And so I don't know. It was just like sometimes just knowing that like, there's other people going through those pain points is pretty helpful. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, like I said, when I started my blog, I thought you guys were like making mad money. And I was like, oh, well, if they can do it, like whatever, I'm going to rock this. People like me. But yeah, it wasn't until someone was like, yeah, well, it actually takes a few years. And, people make it in lots of different ways. And I was like, oh, okay. And, it was me able to, like, kind of take a breath and, like, relax on myself a little bit, too.
Totally.
Kelsey says, send over those episodes, Heath. He's like, I knew it.
Yeah. Sorry, Kelsey.
That's so funny. All right. So what does success look like to you guys?
So I saw you sent the questions over earlier, and I saw that on there, and I was like, gosh, because I know Heath asked that on every podcast episode. It's a really intimidating question when you have to answer it.
Yeah, I like that I ask it and I have to answer it.
Flip the script tonight, baby.
I'm going to steal from Brianna Royal what she said at our summit. I absolutely loved her talk, and she was really talking about just like how do you construct like your own, work style and not think about what other people are doing or comparing yourself to like people online. Like, what do you want? And so what I want is I'm just going to copy hers because I like hers, is to not have to work more than 20 hours a week and to be able to do the things I love and not ever have to have a meeting with someone. So if I can just like sit and like write blogs and write our emails and write books, like that would be my absolute dream. Yeah. And if that would like pay the bills, obviously.
I like that. That's a good definition. For me, I think it changes, and that's okay. Oh, don't need to get towards the center. But I think for me, it's contentment. So that's like more of a deep.
Oh my gosh.
No, but
it's like a non-answer.
No, it's not.
Like
Success to me
this,
is
like,
being
go
content.
on, Heath. You're making me feel so zen.
No,
He
really
wants
is.
to be content, people.
Okay, it's true though. It is corny and it is a bit of a
Yeah.
cop-out answer, but for me it is true because it's like my first thought when I wake up is like I gotta go. Like I gotta hit the ground. I gotta get things done. And it's like no, I want to like be content with knowing that like at the end of my life, like I can roll over and like give Alyssa a hug and like get some morning cuddles in. You know what? Like
We're like live on the internet now.
you know,
Cuddles, Alyssa. He's keeping it PG over here. I appreciate that, bro.
I meant like literal. Okay, fine.
Oh my gosh.
No, but like just being content in my life and not like not comparing myself to other people and where they're at and like being happy with where I'm at and the progress I've made and whatever I'm working on. Because it's just like a big struggle that I have is like never being content with where I'm at.
Well, I like what you said, like when you wake up and like feel like you have to like immediately like get on your computer, because that's something that I feel like we both struggle with in the past year that we're slowly getting over and like trying to rectify.
It's like this morning we were having breakfast and it's been really nice outside. And I was like, it'd be a good morning for a walk. And Alyssa was like, yeah. And I was like, but it's already 9:00. I need to get to work. And I'm like, I have nothing on my calendar. I have nobody pressing down my neck to like get to work, but I have like all this nagging feeling like I need to get to work. And then I was like, and we ended up going for a walk. So it's just like trying to push down that like I need to be go faster because that like goes against something that I know I have in me, which is like also I want to enjoy my life. You know what I mean?
So just be content.
Yeah, exactly. Being content.
Be successful.
Yeah. I totally understand where you're coming from. I know that I shared this in y'all's summit group. I was like, oh, it's my birthday. I'm coming to the summit. It's going to be awesome. I'm launching my course on my birthday, and I'm going to run 31 miles because I just turned 31. And, like, after a few months of, like, creating the course and training for this 31-mile race that nobody, like, it's not even a race, it's just in my head that I have to do it. And I came home and I was like, gosh, Ed, like my legs were cramping and I was like, I'm just not ready for this. Like, I'm really tired. I need to hit the gym more and blah, 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 and eat, bring more pickle juice. And he was like, well, why don't you just freaking relax, sister? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you're not even signed up for a race. Nobody says you have to run 31 miles on your birthday. Like, it's your birthday. What is wrong with you? And I'm like, I just want to celebrate. He's like, that is not celebrating.
Yeah.
Like, you are insane. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? It is enough to just have a birthday. I don't have to have this giant, like, culmination of my achievements in life and all that I'm good at. And, I ended up running 5 miles that day. And by running, I mean like walking and listening to gangster music in the woods in the middle of nowhere in Alabama. And it was just like, it was so lovely. And I really was content with that, and I thought at the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm going to run 10 miles. And I got to like 3 and an hour had passed. And I was like, I'm just walking. Like, I'm barely running because there were so many things to take pictures of, right? It was so beautiful up there. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be happy where I am right now. And I had my phone turned off so I wouldn't see like if people were buying my course or not. Because, of course, I launched on my birthday. Who does that? And I was just I felt so content that day. It was great. And it's something that, when you always talk about that, Heath, I totally relate. Like, the second I wake up, I want to go to the bathroom, I want to brush my teeth, and I want to start working. Like, the moment. Yeah. Like, if I could sleep with my laptop, I probably would. Like, if we had a king size. And to me, it's always the excuse, like, oh, I'm most productive in the morning. Like, oh, I'd like to stop working by noon. But I know a lot of that is because I'm such, like, a go-getter or whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm always looking at the next thing I could be doing. And even tonight, we went for a walk before this, and I said, gosh, I'm just so unhappy right now. I don't know why. Like, everything is going great. And I'm just ready to quit. Like, this is so dumb. What am I doing? But yeah, it's all about just being content in the moment with what's going on. Trekker says, Ari says, there's no reason to run that far, Liz, unless you're trying to get away from a bear.
I agree.
Yeah. That's probably true. I'll think about that. All right, cool. So I want to share, I know we've mentioned the summit a lot. It really has been a life changer for me. I'm sure it's changed y'all's lives too. Just to even know that there are people out there that are willing to pay you to come to this thing. But I've loved the summit so much. I went 3 years in a row. Like I said, the first one cost me like $2,000. The second one, I drove 900 miles in 48 hours to get there early to hang out with my friends. And the third one, again, I think I spent like $2,000 to get there, just because I love it so much. And
now because the tickets are $2,000.
Yeah, and the tickets are $2,000, but they do have a virtual ticket for only $99, and I'm going to show you that right now.
She's kidding. Tickets are not $2,000.
No, they were. I can't remember how much they were, but anyway, they do. Obviously the summit is over. I was talking about it last month. But they do have a virtual ticket right now that I want to show you guys. Oh, that is like a big close-up of my call recorder on my screen right now. Hang on, guys. Let me try to fix this. Can you guys see it just fine? Awesome. It looks great. Well, it would look great if my name wasn't. There we go. All right, so this is the virtual ticket that I just want to show you guys. It's available on Teachable. Like I said, for $99, and it's just got all of the workshops. Let me go to the main page for you guys. It's got all the workshops. Well, I went a little too far. This is live, folks. Get used to it. It's got all the main stage presenters. As you can see, they have a ton of them. Eric and Tammy, Don't Start a Business, Run a Business. They are Techno RV. They usually are here live with us, but they must be doing something way more amazing. That's the only reason I can think they're not here. But they spoke about how they actually bought Techno RV, and that's a really cool one. Alyssa mentioned Brianna's talk a couple minutes ago. That's right here. It's called Living Our Crazy Adventure, Unique, Intentional, Chaotic with a Dash of Wine. Loose term of dash there, I think. And there's just a lot of really awesome ones. I know here, Mark and Trisha, that was one I actually did catch live. Making Space for Significance. They are Keep Your Daydream, and I was super impressed by that talk too. Also, workshops. Holy crap, look at these, you guys. Transitioning to Full-Time RVing with Brandon and Carenza. I'm sure you guys know them. They're RV to Freedom. And, hey, here's that word runway. Build a financial runway for business and life with Adam and Lindsay Newbern. They talk about that, what Heath was saying, building that runway up. They talk about how to actually do that in this workshop. And I love Secrets of Successful Nomad Bloggers. You want to watch that because I mentioned a few times, obviously. That's why I'm promoting it here. But Ashley's really cool. She was actually my very first guest here on TVC Live, so you guys might be familiar with her. And another one I'm going to shout out right here is Beginner's Guide to Systems and Processes. If you're going to build a business on the road, you have to have these. Like Alyssa was saying, you want to travel, but you also want to build your business. That's really hard to juggle. Danny actually was my project manager for the last 4 months. I hired her after Full-Time Freedom Week, and she's helped me get a ton of systems in place. She's the reason this show exists right now. She's the reason why Fix It Yourself came to be, and she gives away all her good stuff in this talk. And so you'll be able to, when you purchase this, go to each talk, and as you can see, Heath and Alyssa are pretty legit. They hired like a serious film crew for this. It's really great quality, and they even give you, a synopsis of the person, the speaker is the word I was looking for, and what they're talking about, and then all the links and stuff to what they do. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because, like I said, the summit changed my life, and if you can't make it, they really want to help you out and get this virtual ticket. And, all the wisdom they've shared today, there's like 100 times in this $99 ticket. So thanks you guys so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us. It's fun. First YouTube Live.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, so thanks so much, guys. Oh, wait. We were supposed to play a game, but it's already 9 o'clock, so we probably... well, we can ask a couple questions. Are you guys okay with that?
Let's do it.
All right, we were supposed to play Would You Rather. So this is Would You Rather. And as you guys know, when we play Would You Rather, I love for you guys to play along. Tell me what you would rather do. Because it's just really fun, and they're ridiculous questions, and let's just have fun before we go to bed tonight. Okay. All right, so I will ask the first question to... I want to ask this one to Alyssa. Would you rather have free Wi-Fi or free coffee?
Free coffee. For sure.
She did not skip a dang beat, guys. And you must really like coffee because you don't actually drink caffeine, correct?
Right.
So that, I remember learning that about you, or you said something about it a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, she actually likes the taste of coffee. That's crazy. Because I actually have never had a cup of coffee before. I do not like the smell of it. Anytime I get, like, a little taste, I'm like, ugh. So, that's so funny. Free coffee. She didn't even skip a beat, guys.
All about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What would you rather, Heath?
Coffee, probably. Especially if it was good. Yeah.
Wi-Fi is just one of those things, like,
I can
it's
get on my
so
phone.
important that I'd be so willing to pay for it because I want to have quality Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but we also feel that about coffee, so it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah. Wow. I would say Wi-Fi, but I guess if they were asking me, like, free Wi-Fi or, like, free Mountain Dew, I'd be like, well...
Yeah.
Oh, man, that carbonated beverage is pretty good. All right. Ooh, this is a good one. We can ask both of you. So, would you rather live 1,000 years or live 10 different lives that were 100 years?
Ooh.
Probably 10 different lives.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's like a do-over, like a video game.
Because Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams is like super sad, and he lives like a really long time, and he watches like everybody die. So yeah,
and he'd be so old.
Yeah, that's a long ass time. My grandmother-in-law, my husband's grandmother, she'll be 100 this year, and she is always like, why am I still here? I'm just lonely. Everybody gets annoyed by me. Like, let it be done. So yeah, I think I'd rather live 10 lives for 100 years as well. And yeah, you guys play in the comments. When the comments don't come up, I'm like, oh gosh, my internet broke. Trekker says 1,000 years, just keep reinventing yourself. Well, I guess if you didn't look 1,000 years old, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this is a good one. This one, Heath, would you rather have a ding every time you winked or have a cartoon go off when you make a finger gun?
Oh, cartoon finger gun. Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh my gosh, I love how you just said that. Like, no big deal. Like, duh, Liz. What about you, Alyssa?
I would like the ding when I winked.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like,
me too. Especially, I wink a lot at people. I've noticed, like, some people are like, gosh, that Liz girl is so creepy. Like, I'm always winking. I'm like, uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Well, I didn't learn to wink until, like, I couldn't wink until, like, 9th grade. So I think it's, like, I'm making up for lost time. Like, all the middle school winks I could have done with my friends. Oh, that's so funny. All right. Let's see. Would you rather, we can ask both, would you rather sound like Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck?
Oh, boy. I feel like you can't understand what Donald Duck says.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've talked to him.
I would go with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Mickey. Even though he sounds like a little bit of a creeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Mickey.
Just a little.
You keep copying all my answers, by the way.
Sorry.
You can think for yourself.
Sorry, you said. All right. Here, let's just do one more. Would you rather have your hand stuck in a jar or your head stuck in a bucket?
Hand.
Hand for
I said it first.
sure. Hand for sure. I can't even like wear like a mask when I'm like snorkeling because I'm just like, oh, there's something on my face.
Yeah. Copycat.
Well, I think if you had your hand stuck in a jar, you could just, do like one of those like really badass like old Western movies and just go bam, like on the table and just break the jar open.
Yeah, just break it off.
Whereas sometimes I think about if I didn't have a hand, I would have like a universal hook thing on the end, and I could swap off like leaf blowers, so it'd be like multi-purpose hands.
You think about this?
No, I mean, I guess a couple times I have.
The life of an entrepreneur. He's just got ideas, woman. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
I like that you're prepared.
Yeah.
He's prepared should he ever lose his hand, guys. He's going to be like...
Or I had to get it cut off, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Instead of like being the Renaissance man, you could be the Renaissance hand. Like so, like diverse.
Exactly.
Everybody's saying Mickey and the hand too.
Totally, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Mike says I've lived long enough after hearing a Bicentennial Man reference on a YouTube live. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. That is so funny. Seriously, I was surprised you referenced that movie as well. That's a throwback for sure.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. So.
I really aged myself.
Yeah, you did.
So, sorry. Rest in peace, Robin.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience and your lovely wisdom with us tonight. I really, really appreciated you. And again, so the Teachable thing, that's in the link. Is that super professional or what? The Teachable thing, you can get that on a link in the description. I'm still new to YouTube, guys. Like, YouTubers would be like totally like have something pop up when they do the thing, like kind of like the finger gun, pew, and then it would be like, click the link in the description. But thank you guys so much for all that you've done for the RV community, especially people like me that, aren't retired and need to build a business on the road. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks, Liz.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right, guys, that was really fun. Thanks for hanging in with us. I know we're a little over time. We started a little late, but, that's TVC Live, honestly. Oh, you guys aren't muted. Hang on, let me mute you. All right, now they're muted. Anyway, next week we're going to go live with the Roving Foleys. They are a family of 4 that reached out to me a few months ago, and we've just been following each other, and I think they have a really interesting story, and I can't wait to bring them on. And again, if you're interested in the RVE Entrepreneur Summit, but you couldn't make it, remember the ticket is only $99, and it is like full of amazing stuff, you guys, seriously. I'll be rewatching a lot of these, watching a lot of them for the first time because I'm terrible at actually attending sessions. So a lot of them I will have to actually watch for the first time, but I heard amazing things from all the other attendees that were like, what the heck, Liz, where have you been? I'm like, in my hotel room sleeping because I'm exhausted. But anyway, thanks guys so much. I can't wait to see you next week.